Welcome to the Finance Report. I'm Mallory Hoff alongside David Wilkinson and our guest, David Reyes. Over the next half hour, we'll discuss planning for a successful retirement and why so many people in this country are missing the mark.
So here's what's in store. First, we'll talk about taxes. They could be the most critical part of your retirement, but get this, they're often overlooked. Then in 15 and 15, we'll discuss income, risk, and growth strategies, plus how to approach market volatility. That conversation and so much more ahead.
Joining us now is David Reyes, the Chief Financial Architect of Reyes Financial, a San Diego area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. David is also a popular radio show host. David, I've heard you say the goal is to stop worrying once we get to retirement. Tell me how the right tax strategy factors into all of this.
Well, it's big. It's the most expensive thing that we pay for in retirement. 20, 30, even 40, 50%, depending upon your income. That's a lot of cost.
Sure is.
If taxes could be your largest expense in retirement, why do you see so many plans not attacking them?
Well, I think, number one, who likes taxes, right? It's kind of like going to the dentist.
Uncle Sam.
Let's go.
Sure.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
exactly,
Yeah.
besides your least favorite uncle.
Yeah.
But seriously, people just this kind of avoidance of dealing with it. So, and a lot of advisory firms aren't. That's not part of their specialty. You know, my partner, God bless, is a CPA.
Yeah.
So it makes my life a little easier. But it's just overlooked, I think, because it's easier just to focus on managing the money. But some of the most important planning time can be spent on reducing taxes.
All right, so to break this down a little bit further from a dollars and cents standpoint, what is the difference between those who plan for taxes and those who don't?
Well, it can be big. I'll give you some examples. I mean, where it really can be like life-changing is where you're dealing with maybe one-time capital gains. Let's say you're selling a house, one-time an investment property. Had this happen with a client just a couple months ago. Sold a $3 million investment property.
Yeah.
We're going to pay $1 million in taxes between state, federal, and Obama surtax. Okay, nice little California tax there.
Right.
We have on top of that with our own capital gains tax. But we actually avoided all those taxes by a strategy that we use and saved them $1 million in taxes.
Wow.
So those are where you can have significant life-altering types of examples. But there's also kind of the basic stuff. We're doing Roth conversions or certain types of other strategies. But those one-time capital gain issues can be really big and life-changing for clients.
Well, I think it's important what you said. It's probably easier to go about just managing the money as opposed to diving in and having a holistic plan, one that's comprehensive. If you aren't looking at your taxes heading into retirement, what kind of costs could we be looking at?
I mean, it can be huge. I gave you that one example.
That was one,
I had a business owner sell a business for $6 million, was going to pay $2 million in tax. We didn't pay any. We were able to avoid the tax in that example as well. It can be millions of dollars. It can be hundreds of thousands. It can be tens of thousands. It just depends upon what we're talking about. When it comes to more traditional type of tax planning, most people have tax deferred accounts. So you're going to pay Uncle Sam, you know, when you start taking distributions. So there's things that we can do ahead of that to say maybe cut those taxes in half or even more.
Wow.
So those are some of the things that we look to do.
Do you think there's a misconception out there that this type of tax planning really is only for the super wealthy? Maybe it doesn't apply to me and my personal situation. I'll just kind of let it be. Maybe I'll get to that later.
Yeah, I think so. And some of the examples I've already given you these are for the millionaire next door type of clients that own a house, maybe they have a rental property, they have their 401k. So just all these things can be used. It's just, you're right. A lot of times people will think, oh, that doesn't apply to me. But the reality is you want to work with an advisor who has expertise in tax planning. It's critical to your overall retirement success.
And you mentioned you all have a CPA in your firm. What kind of difference does that make?
Well, it's big, and we work with a CPA firm in our building. My wife came from the audit side, my partner. So it's just part of our DNA. And so, you know, we're reviewing tax returns every year. The nice part, if they're working with our CPAs, we're reviewing their returns every year with them. So they really like that. It's just much more real, holistic planning that really can make a difference.
How often do you see a client for a first appointment, a first visit, and you realize very quickly they have spent years overlooking tax planning?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. I mean, we're going to talk in maybe another segment about the Trump Tax Act and what happened in that. That's going to be unwound in 2025. And so there's a lot of things that we can do today, especially to deal with those future tax issues. But I will tell you, it's just something that's overlooked and very costly. And people really are happy when you bring that up.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to save them taxes.
Absolutely.
And so they like that.
Well, I don't want you to dive into a crystal ball. I know none of us have that, that crystal ball, but as you mentioned, 2025, taxes are most likely going to look different in the near future.
Yeah, well, Biden's already trying to increase taxes as we speak right now. I mean, we have issues with our budget and interest on the debt. I mean, it's a problem. But on top of that, you have the Trump tax cuts expiring at the end of 2025. And there's three areas I'm really concerned about. Well, number one, just tax brackets in general are going to go higher. Okay, so you're going to pay more taxes, number one. Number two, which is a bigger deal, especially for Californians and people here in San Diego, is the standard deduction may go from, which is today $24,000 for a married couple, down to $13,000. And the third is the estate tax. So a lot of my clients will face estate tax issues now, going from 11 million per individual down to 5 million. So those are three areas that really can hurt business owners, successful retirees, successful business people. Those are the things that I'm concerned about.
We're not talking about what happens just mid-April. There's a big difference between tax preparation and tax planning. Can you address that?
Yeah, what the stuff that we deal with is tax planning. We, it's kind of like, I'm a baseball guy, right? So we have a scorekeeper, and you have, well, I'm a Barry Bonds fan. So, you got somebody to win the game, right? And so, we want to help clients win. And winning means we want to reduce our taxes, pay our fair share, what legally, ethically, and morally we say, right? We got to pay our taxes, help our country. But there's lots of ways we can mitigate those taxes. So that's what we're dealing with, really being more proactive and trying to help our clients win.
Yeah, very powerful information, which means the time to act is now. Today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary retirement blueprint just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call, 858-293-4644. That's 858-293-4644.
And today we're breaking down the retirement planning process. Unfortunately, we all know the unexpected happens in life. So how can we account for the expenses we don't see coming, David?
Well, part of our job is to anticipate those. I mean, number one is build in some planning for that, but also, one of the biggest unintended, expenses is long-term care. That's a big one, right? And
often overlooked.
Yes, often overlooked. So there's ways we can talk about to deal with that, but really it's about having a plan that deals with kind of two parts, trying to have an income plan so we have the cash flow we need. We also need growth. So typically, if we can have growth that we're not using for our cash flow, then that can be those things that hopefully grow over time that can help to subsidize those unexpected costs.
David, we all know our portfolio should match our age and stage, but how important is it to pull back on risk when we're approaching retirement?
Well, it's simple for us because we have to solve for income. Remember, we're transitioning from growth to cash flow, and we need that 401k to turn into a rental property, I call it, right? We need the income, right? We need the income. So really, we have to solve for cash flow first. That's going to determine how much we can attribute just to pure growth and investments. So our plan is going to be much more intentional than just some mutual funds we on a 401k plan.
Paint me a picture. What can a big loss before or during retirement potentially look like for someone and their family?
Well, I'll tell you a story. A client of mine that was hiring us in January of 2020 and went on a trip to San Francisco to go visit one of his rental properties, his main rental property. And he had a significant amount of money. It was about $10 million. He was a very high net worth guy. And when he came back, he had $5 million. He came back to see me in April, This is a true story. And he owned every airline and every cruise line in his portfolio. Now those happen to go down 70%, by the way. Warren Buffett owned those as well, so he was in good company. But Warren Buffett has a couple more dollars than he had. Well, so those things can really happen. He lost half of his assets. He sold at the bottom because he was so stressed out he couldn't take it anymore. And meanwhile, I didn't know. I thought he still had his money. Everything was great, and he had to actually sell a house in San Francisco. Luckily, it was in San Francisco to subsidize his retirement, and he was really upset about it because his daughter was moving there for college. And so it was really, really devastating for him. Obviously, this guy had a lot of money, but he was already in retirement. He was in his 70s, right? He was in his 70s, and he was invested in all the airlines, the cruise lines. So risk in retirement is a very serious, serious issue.
Let me ask you this. What do you do at that point? Is there potential to recover in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I mean, the point is he had to sell an asset. He didn't recover. He had to sell assets, right? But the problem is, let's just pretend he didn't have that asset. Let's pretend instead of having 10 million, he had 2 million, and now he has $1 million.
Sure.
you got problems. And I've been around a long time, 2000, 2008, the COVID crash. I've had plenty of people coming to me, not my clients, thank God, but prospective clients,
Sure.
crying on my table, especially during the financial crisis, because
Yeah.
they lost their homes, they lost their rental properties, they lost their jobs, their 401k got cut in half. So most of the people that come to me have already won the game. They already have enough money to retire, but it's how do we structure that portfolio to ensure that we don't have a run out of money?
Let me ask you this then. If we do pull back on risk, how can we still potentially grow our money?
Well, again, we look at it, we separate cash flow from growth. So we're always
Yeah.
going to solve for income. So if somebody has $2 million and we think we get a 5% distribution rate, we'll use $1 million and we're going to put that money's going to generate $50,000 of cash flow. We'll take the rest of the money. We can have growth assets because we can deal with the volatility of that. So we need all of it. We need to worry about inflation, taxes, growth, cash flow. So it's a very, very daunting task on your own. That's why I think everybody that has significant assets in retirement should hire a good advisor that's an expert in retirement income planning.
With help, it doesn't have to be so daunting. Always great information. I'm going to put it to be continued on
Yes.
this part of our conversation. And coming up on the Finance Report, we'll discuss the stock market and the ups and downs that can occur with your retirement. And up next in 15 in 15, one of these Davids will put the other on the clock.
How do we go about maximizing our lifestyle goals for retirement?
Yeah, well, again, we talk about, sounds redundant, but we got to have an income plan. We have to have a written retirement income plan.
But first, today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary retirement blueprint just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call, 858-293-4664. Once again, 858-293-4644.
The clock is ticking towards your retirement, so that brings us to 15 in 15. 15 topics in 15 seconds. David, sir, are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
All right, let's fire up that clock. Question number 1, how much money will you need to retire? According to a survey, more Americans than ever believe the magic number is $1 million. So, David, is $1 million the magic number for retirement?
Depends, right? I mean, it can be. $1 million is a lot of money.
Sure.
You know, I would say for most people, that's probably the minimum. But really the magic number is how much income can be produced from that asset. So we're going to look at how do we produce cash flow, right? So if they, if let's say they needed, $5,000 a month, maybe on $1 million, 5% is probably reasonable. But what if they needed $10,000 a month?
Yeah.
Then that may not be enough money. Maybe they need $2 million. So everybody's going to be different. So the magic number is really what is the income that can be produced from that asset.
Understood. You need a unique plan customized for you. Question number 2, it's understandable to have some concerns, perhaps even some fears when it comes to spending your savings in retirement. So what can people do to spend with confidence?
Yeah, first have a plan. I mean, that's the key. Most people are just used to saving money. They've done it. Most of the clients that are coming to see us, they've been great savers. Not great investors, great savers. It's a big difference between saving money and spending money.
Absolutely.
It's very stressful to do that. So having a retirement income plan first, right? Having multiple sources of cash flow above and beyond Social Security. Maybe they have a pension, different avenues. We want to have at least 2 or 3 or 4 different income sources. And usually clients are totally unprepared for something like that.
Okay, you want that spending power. Question number 3, what if I told you 45% of people who do not have an advisor believe the typical cost for one is between 5 and 15% of their assets? Sir, is that reasonable?
No, not reasonable. Although I can tell you, I did review a fee, a part of our second opinion review process, we look at fees they pay. And this one client actually was paying 5% in fees between their variable annuities and things that they had. But typically, it's just going to be around 1 to 2%, depending upon what services are offered. So the higher the fee, hopefully they're providing a lot more services. They're maybe doing some tax planning, estate planning. But yeah, that's pretty outrageous.
Okay, so if you see 15% run.
Or 5 even.
5, even 5. He says run. Get on the jog.
Yes.
Question number 4, let's do some taxes. A recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to pay taxes. Are we really looking at nearly a third of our money going to Uncle Sam?
Yeah, not only during your retirement, but what happens when you pass away? I mean, they've changed the rules with IRAs. That's a big one. A lot of people are concerned about their kids and beneficiaries. You know, they're going to lose a 30% or more of those assets on top of the tax they're paying, which is 20-30% during retirement. So it's a big cost. It's the biggest expense we have in retirement.
No, we talked about it at the top of the show, and we're going to keep going at it with question number 5, because when it comes to income taxes, in your opinion, is it possible to receive retirement income from our life savings without having to pay those income taxes?
Absolutely. I mean, the great thing now is there's Roth 401ks that people contribute to. We do a lot of Roth conversions where we're converting taxable into tax-free. There's some insurance products you can use. There's lots of different strategies. There's also other real estate investments that we'll use that are more tax favorable. So there's lots of things you can do if you look at taxes intentionally, for sure.
Yeah, sign me up for tax favorable. That sounds like the fun line to stand in. Question number 6, obviously, as we approach retirement, our thinking, it can change. So David, is it more important to focus on growth or protection at this stage?
We got to protect assets first.
Okay.
You know, we have a saying, want the most amount of income, least amount of risk, and never run out of money. You know, that's the job that we have to do every day. So we have to protect our money, but we also have to grow it. So you think of all these things attacking our portfolios: inflation, taxes, all these things that we need to worry about, long-term care needs. So the fact is we have to focus on both, but we got to protect our money first because we need that for our cash flow.
All right, so I'm going to go sidebar on you right now. If we're protecting our money, does that mean we're forfeiting growth?
No, absolutely not. Again, we're going to kind of split the baby. We want to create a cash flow plan for the client, and then we're also going to have what we consider our risk managed growth portfolios, where we want to have growth, but we want to manage the risk. But we got to solve for cash flow first.
Okay, solid advice. Question number 7, who doesn't love guaranteed money? David, annuities are an investment that can do that for your income, but why do you believe so many people are hesitant to get an annuity?
Yeah, the A word, right?
Yeah, the A word.
Yeah, the A word.
The one we can say on TV.
I'll tell you, using them as a tool, you know, we use everything from stocks, bonds, real estate, annuities. We use the kitchen sink, right? And they're all widgets to me. You know, it's a giant game we're playing anyway, right? We just want to have all the tools on our side. But with annuities, it's really a lack of understanding. It's really, once clients really understand the benefits of them, they love them, right? If they need that. Not every one of our clients will use them. A lot of them do. But once they understand the benefits of them, the lifetime income for both you and your spouse, sometimes you get increasing income, all those kind of things, lifetime income is one of the biggest benefits, like a pension for retirees.
No, absolutely. You want to be educated on how your money is working for you. Great news, my friend. We are off the clock. We're going to go to halftime of 15 and 15. A lot of great information, which is why David has a great offer today exclusively for our Finance Report viewers. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary retirement blueprint just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement, a game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call, 858-293-4644. That number, 858-293-4644. Back on the clock we go. Topic number 8 of 15 and 15. David, we've worked decades to get to retirement. We want to travel, see the world, do things with our family. So how do we go about maximizing our lifestyle goals for retirement?
Yeah, well, again, we talk about, sounds redundant, but we got to have an income plan. We have to have a written retirement income plan, because really what I've found over the years is people can spend a lot more money than they thought they could.
Really?
Right, yeah, because they're afraid to spend their money. You know, I call it permission to spend your money. Well, I remember my first client, I actually left that meeting going, wow, I had to tell my client they could spend their money.
Refreshing.
So that's the most important thing, is having a plan and knowing what the ability is for you to safely retire.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's going to object to having permission to spend their money from a financial advisor. Question number 9, fees. I've heard them compared to termites just eating away at your retirement savings. So what can fees realistically do to somebody that's unaware of what they're paying?
They can be significant. With every one of our clients, we do a fee analysis of what they're paying in fees. The biggest kind of culprit or 2 areas is mutual funds can have a lot of fees. Variable annuities can be very expensive. But yeah, I mean, a 1% fee on a $2 million, you know, you're talking over a 30-year time frame, can be $500,000, $600,000 of cost over their lifetime. So reducing fees, you want to pay for advice, but you don't want the investments that you invest in to be very expensive to invest in. So we want to make sure that we mitigate the cost of the investment vehicles, and then you're paying for advice. And that's the best way to handle it.
Absolutely. 1% may not sound like much, but it can add up very quick over time. Question number 10, 401ks. Lots of people have them. Lots of people are going to rely on them for their income in retirement. But how common is it for parts of someone's 401k to be underperforming?
it's all the time. I mean, think of last year was a perfect example. 2022, you know, you had the bond market drop on average 15%. The average 60-40, what I call the boomer portfolio, was down 20%.
Wow.
Right? So how happy were those 401k retirees that had their money sitting in 401k? So 401ks are very limited. They're great investment vehicles for growing your assets because you can put in all stocks and the market goes up and down and you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. But as we get older, you know, 401k vehicles, the target date funds, things like that are just not appropriate. So we want to move those into our own accounts, into our own self-directed IRAs that we can manage, whether it's with an advisor or yourself. We're going to have more options.
I'm loving the info you're throwing out right now. Question number 11. Once upon a time, pensions were standard. You collected Social Security, and if you mutual funds and bonds carried you away to retirement. But David, how have the rules to retirement planning changed?
Well, I think they're different in one way. Again, bonds. People thought bonds were safe, right? Until last year, right? When rates go up, bond prices go down. And there's just so many different ways, you know, annuities, real estate. We love dividend paying stocks. The problem is 401k plans like we're talking about are just not equipped for that. So really it's how do we produce cash flow from the portfolios? And I think that's a big difference today and what we focus on as opposed to spending down our money in retirement.
Absolutely. Make sure your retirement plan has not expired. Question number 12, we discussed that really being ready for retirement is both a mental and a physical question. So David, how can someone know if they're really ready for retirement?
Yeah, have a plan, right?
Okay,
Get back
have
to
the plan.
The income plan. Yeah, it's probably the scariest decision somebody's going to make. Going from working and earning a paycheck, you know, the first thing I ask is, what is your net paycheck per month? And that's where we start, right? So once they know we can safely have similar income, hopefully more income even than what they make during their job, then we can feel comfortable and not have the stress of retirement. So that is the biggest decision people make, is retiring.
Understood. Question number 13, focusing in on long-term care. What can people do to prepare for that without having to buy some huge insurance policy?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, my grandfather, I mean, God rest his soul, he passed away, had dementia, lost everything.
Oh, wow.
You know, this is when I first started in the business, so it's near and dear to my heart. Long-term care is a problem. It's expensive. Yeah. You know, you have three or four different ways. Number one, you can self-insure, right? Pay yourself, which most people do now. You can buy a traditional policy, which is going to cost you $1,000 to $2,000 a month for you and your spouse. The good news is there's some better, more hybrid type of ways to do it. Annuities can have riders for long-term care. You can buy an insurance policy that have riders. So that's the kind of vehicles we use to make it cost effective, but it's a challenge. Long-term care has become a very expensive vehicle.
Yeah, certainly and unfortunately. Question number 14, there are always going to be strategies that people can use to plan for retirement. Lots of advisors believe in lots of different things, but David, do you think buy and hold is still a solid retirement strategy?
Yeah, not in a traditional sense of just putting together a portfolio of 60% stock, 40% bonds. I mean, that portfolio alone pays a 2% yield. You know, most people need, so on $1 million, that's $20,000 a year. That same person probably needs $50,000 a year.
Absolutely.
So buy and hold strategies for my clients and retirees is not appropriate.
Okay, and final question of 15 and 15. This one has gained a lot of steam. Cryptocurrency. Your advice to a retiree that wants to put a whole bunch of money into it.
Oh, I had that happen to back when you had what crypto was up at, Bitcoin was up at 60, 70,000. You know, my phone was ringing off the hook with clients. Oh, David, should we put some money in? And I had one client, he took out $100,000. He had a lot of money. And I said, I'm not doing it. You can go do it. He bought it at, I think it was 65,000.
Okay.
Right? So he's down about 70%.
All right.
So yeah, it's a major risk asset. Doesn't mean it's not going to be valuable one day. But yeah, if you want to take a little bit of your own money and do that, I'm not going to do that for you. But that would be part of the non-plan that we're doing for you. Is your own, you know, risk plan as far as if you want to go kind of roll the dice, then you know that's fine as long as it's not going to impact your retirement.
Okay, fun money.
Yes,
Spend
there we
fun
go.
Money
Vegas
on that.
money.
All right, great news, my friend. We are done with 15 and 15 off the clock. Incredible effort from you. A lot of great information, and for that reason today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary retirement blueprint just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call, 858-293-4644. That's 858-293-4644.
We're going to take a trip back in time now to 2008 for a moment. To say that was a trying time in this country would obviously be an understatement. David, you've been doing this for a long time. We should have learned from that stretch of volatility. My question is this, have we?
No, I would say no. I mean, even going back before 2008, I mean, you had between 2000 and 2002, the market was down 50%.
Yeah.
In 2007 to 2009, down 50%. Here, down 35%. Here, down 35% in the NASDAQ. I mean, this is painful. I mean, really, this lost decade from here to here, really 2000 to 2008, the market went nowhere. Think about that. If you're retired,
sure,
it's fine if you're saving money, but
sure,
if you're spending down capital, this is how you run out of money right here. The market dropped 50% 2 times in 10 years.
And yet people from time to time have that FOMO feeling, fear of missing out. You know, how can you express to someone that, look, it's time to pull back a little bit?
Yeah.
We're approaching retirement. Tell me how challenging it is sometimes to convince people it's time to go, it's time to make your move.
Well, the funny part is that the average person, we have this game called a risk-o-meter, right? Yeah. We actually get risk down to a number what they're comfortable with relative to loss of money.
Okay.
The average person doesn't want to lose more than 10% of their money.
Of course not.
So if you have $2 million, that's $200,000. So quite honestly, if they're sitting in front of us, they're going to realize, hey, we don't want to take on much risk anyway.
Sure.
But so that's typically for us not as big of a challenge. Okay. Especially because the market we're in today, right? It's a tough market. The market in 2022 was down 20, 30%. And so people are a little less, you know, they're more risk averse today than they have been in the past.
All right, so let's talk about that. Looking into the future now, we don't know exactly what's going to happen next. What's the most effective way to play things if you are within 10 years of retirement?
Yeah, I would say, you know, we call it kind of the retirement red zone at 5 to 10 years. You want to start looking at ways to start protecting capital because at that point, you've saved more money than you're contributing, right? If you saved $1 million, you're putting away $20,000 a year. What's more important, the $20,000 or the million? Sure. So we have to start looking at ways to protect and safely grow that money and then start looking at ways to transition into producing cash flow in those investments.
Big picture, what do you find people are overlooking right now in the retirement planning process?
I think they're overlooking a couple things. One, I think risk is still an issue. People don't understand. I mean, the bond market last year was down 15 to 20%. I mean, the long-term treasury bond was down 30. I mean, so overlooking the fact that you can just set it and forget it, you know, just buy and hold, I think that's a big issue. And then not realizing that we need to produce income from our portfolios and not just spend down our capital during retirement.
Great information as always, which means the time to act is now. Today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary retirement blueprint just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call, 858-293-4644, 858-293-4644.
David, as we wrap the show, why is it so critical in your mind to get that second opinion on your plan?
Because retirement is one of the most, you know, important decisions you can make in your entire life. So just like our health, we get second opinions. If we have heart attacks or health issues, why not get a second opinion on your wealth as well? So, you know, second opinions that we look at is we're gonna do a written retirement income plan. We're gonna look at the fees you're paying in your retirement. We're gonna look at what risk you're taking. So those are the kind of things that we do for our clients. So I always advise retirees, pre-retirees to look at, you know, somebody else that has maybe done this a few more times than you have. We always say you're going to retire once. You know, we retire every day. So I always think that's a good idea.
All of this being said today, you actually have something very special for our viewers watching at home.
That's right. For the first 5 callers that have saved $500,000 or more for retirement, I'd like to invite them to give our team a call, and we will personally sit down with them and help them create their very own retirement blueprint. And Mallory, David, we'll do this all on a complimentary basis.
That really is an opportunity that should not be missed. Thank you. And once again, for you at home, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary retirement blueprint just for you.
This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call, 858-293-4644. That number, 858-293-4644.
And for all of us at the Finance Report, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.